Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL fantasy review of the Thursday night game between Brisbane and Collingwood, and how in the end I guess Brisbane just overran Collingwood and I got the good score out of DAICOS and really had a really good game in this one except for Wilmot. So before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload. And yeah, let's get into the video. So if I go over to this screen, you can see I've got the scores up here, and so starting off with Brisbane, a really good game from Charlie Cameron. Really took it on in the last quarter. He kicked 3 goals in the last 4, 5 and 6. Yep, he kicked 3 in the last, had a huge second half of 70. And yeah, got to 107. Not going to be a reliable scorer, as he really is just an out-and-out forward and does not play any midfield time. And as you can see, averaged 51 going into the game and scored a 107. Then you have Cam Rayner here, 99 and break-even of 72, so he beat that. He just had a good all-round game, to be honest, and was sitting on 84 at three-quarter time. And yeah. He's one of those guys that every year you think it's going to be his year, and then it's just not. And he'll probably average like 70 this year, but for what he was priced at, I believe he was priced at around 65, 70. It just isn't a good option. And yeah, doesn't really look like he's playing down back anymore. He kicked 4 or 5? Did he kick 4 in the end? Yeah, he kicked 4 goals. I think 2, maybe 4 goals 1. And yeah, 4 goals 1. Yeah, 4 goals 1, I think it was in the end. And yeah, just looks pretty good, but not a fancy option. McInerney dominated in the ruck like we thought he would, and this leads me on to, if I just check Nick Daicos' fixtures, they have, who do they have next? They have St Kilda next, and then Bombers, and then Adelaide, and then Sydney. And by the Sydney game, he should be back. Then they have the Giants. So for these next 2 or 3 games, they are going to get absolutely dominated in the ruck. And I do like the option of Rowan Marshall in this game, as it did look like, if we look back to Oscar McInerney, he ended up only on, what did he end up, 95. I think he scored 15 plus on his average. I think Rowan Marshall could go 120, 130 against the Pies, as if they don't debut an actual ruckman, because all their ruckmen are pretty raw at the moment. Like I said with, I think it was Oscar Stein. He's really raw and very similar to the likes of Mick Andrews from Sydney, for anyone needing a reference. And he just isn't AFL ready from the sounds of it. So they have to go with the likes of McStay and Ash Johnson and Frampton ruck combination, and that really just gets dominated to the point that they might as well just put a 4th mid in there and just have have 4 rovers. So yeah, any ruckman in the next 3 or 4 weeks until Mason Cox comes back is going to dominate against Collingwood. Joe Danaher had a really good first half, really good second and third quarter, and it was something funny, like, who I was talking with my dad, like, who would have thunk that Danaher would be leading the disposal count at halftime, and he basically was, until I think Scott Pendlebury got 2 or 3 quick disposals at the end to get over him, but he was in the lead by a possession or 2 at that point, and it was quite funny to see a key forward having most of the ball. Jared Berry, just an average game, I guess. Nothing special. Then Dunkley again missing out. It's really starting to worry me that he's averaging 95 or something like that. 2 of my top premiums are basically just missing. Well, and yeah, it's just not going the best, and hopefully Dunkley can pick it up. Connor McKenna had a really good game, and yeah, I wish I had. He's one of those ones that's going to have a good game and an off game, so it's really try. I don't know if you probably can get him in just because he's having good games and off games. like side by side, so he's so volatile. Hugh McCluggage actually had a decent game on the ground, just not fancy wise. As you can see, that huge break even is just tanking his price. Harris Andrews is one that I'm quite confused at why he's doing so well. I don't know whether he's just in a purple patch here where he's getting a lot of kick marks, or whether that is the new, I guess, Brisbane style, because he's done that for, I think, 3 games now. I think his last 3 is averaging 93. So at 557, it's almost like you got to jump on now, or if you jump on and he fails, then that's just a waste of a trade, almost 2 trades. But if he goes and scores 100 again, then you're going to be in the money quite well, because he will jump up another like 60 or 70k. And then you got Lachie Neale here, just didn't do anything really. Ashcroft, really bad first half, but really good second. I think he had something like 20 touches in the second half to save it, and he scored 76 in the end, so he should jump up close to 475, 480k. And then Coleman had a shocker, and his price is tanking. And then, Wilmot just had a shocking third quarter and first quarter and really didn't do anything. So 36 will help will get him up by 30, 40k, but not going to really help on field. And then we go over to Nick DAICOS, and 45 at halftime. And I thought, okay, this is perfect scoring pace, because I wanted him to score like 100, 105 for me, because I didn't have him VC. I had the Doherty VC, and we'll get onto that in another game. And I wanted him to get 105 because that wasn't really a VC score, but it was a good enough score for a guy where DAICOS was, to just take that score and move on. But he decided to kick on in the last quarter, and in the last basically 10 minutes he had 10, 12, 15, 18, 20, 22 points. So he was on 104 with like 10 minutes to go, and I thought, okay, if he has a bad 10 minutes here, he gets 110, 112. That's a sort of iffy vice captaincy score. You probably take it, but it's not like a blowout score. But then he got that huge last 10 minutes, and it got him up to a huge score. So him and Sheasel are more becoming vice captaincy options week by week, and I should probably just go for that, a safe like 110, 105, 110, than going for the likes of Doherty and someone else who I think could go huge, because I just need to be able to rack up these 110 scores, because he's just not getting tagged. He will get tagged next week against Saints, I believe, because of Ross Lyon, and I think Ross Lyon will tag him, but I don't think you'll see him tagged pretty much outside of that, except for maybe the Swans will tag him with Ryan Clark, because he's basically back. Pendlebury, really good first 3 quarters, fell off in the last, but I mean, they were done by then. Noble, another good, alright game. DeGoey, again, showing that he's so volatile that, you can't really expect him to do well. Like, I expect him next week to probably pull out a 110 or something like that, just because, he's going to do something like that. But then he'll pull out a 60 or 70. Hoskin Elliott, Josh DAICOS finally had the bad game that I was expecting him to have sometime soon, just because he couldn't be putting up 90s week on week, I don't think, with the role he has. He can sort of get isolated out on that wing. You got Maynard here, who actually looked really damaging, but I mean, he only put up 75, so not really fancy relevant. And then you come down here, there's no one here that's really anything worthwhile. I mean, there's no one here. And then Tom Mitchell had a shocker game, so good that I didn't bring him in, as he's only averaging probably 90 now, and that's not really good. And McStay, good thing I didn't bring him in, as he just looked shocking in the ruck. He didn't look like a true ruckman, and that's really, if Collingwood, they're already going to be losing the hit-outs to advantage now for the next 3 or 4 weeks. If they don't win the clearances, if they get a good hit-out to advantage ruckman in the opposition, it's going to be pretty bad for them. And then you got pretty much no one here. There wasn't any rookies to say from Collingwood's side. So that's pretty much it. So if I go back to the main screen, that's the video there and then of the review of the Brisbane Collingwood game. And I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.